In previous work, we have demonstrated documents as user interfaces, in which static document elements such as words and pictures become user interface interaction elements such as menus and buttons.
Recently, we have extended the documents as user interface concept to dynamic multimedia documents, so that user interface designers can create multimedia documents and specify dynamic interaction elements within them. Building user interfaces is difficult enough at present. Building multimedia user interfaces will be even harder. Rapid prototyping of multimedia interfaces requires powerful document authoring tools. We have constructed a prototype multimedia authoring system called Firefly that can also be used to build multimedia user interfaces.
Firefly uses a three-step process for creating and displaying multimedia documents. Unlike most systems, Firefly does not provide a timeline-based editor for creating documents. Instead, the author interactively selects media segments for use in the document and marks events of interest within them. Then, the author specifies the temporal relationship among the marked events in the media segments by placing explicit temporal synchronization constraints among them. When it is time to view the document, the system automatically produces a schedule for controlling the display of the document. To do this, Firefly solves the document's temporal constraints using a linear program. During this step, the system also detects any errors in the document and issues warning messages to the author. After a schedule has been created, the system is ready to display the document. Firefly controls the presentation of media segments in the document by issuing commands from the schedule. In addition, Firefly handles asynchronous events such as user interaction or events generated by other programs. Part 1 of this videotape is an overview of the Firefly multimedia document system.
We are going to demonstrate Firefly by first looking at a completed multimedia document and then examining how this document was created. This document is a user interface to a database containing information about the Gita Govinda, a 12th century East Indian epic poem. The image portion of this document, a painting based on the Gita Govinda, serves as a catalyst for exploring the database. When the user selects an active element in the painting, such as this blue figure, a query is sent to the database. The reply is another Firefly document that provides a description of the selected element. In this case, a document containing text and audio which describes Krishna, the hero of the Gita Govinda.
The Gita Govinda is based on the love play of Krishna and the cowherdess Radha, their union, separation, and reunion.
Now let's look at how this Firefly document was constructed.
The first step in document construction is to create the segments of media data that will later be placed in the multimedia document. This can be done using various media editors. Current editors include audio, text, animations, programs, and the image editor shown here. Segments of media data are represented by simple graphs called media items. Graph nodes called media events represent potential points of action and synchronization. Graph edges represent the temporal ordering of those events. Every newly created media item is a two-node graph consisting of a start event, an end event, and a graph edge between the two events. A media editor can be used to mark additional media events. Synchronous events, such as a spoken word in an audio segment, occur at predictable times and appear within the connected part of the graph. Asynchronous events, such as mouse clicks, keystrokes, or program states, occur at unpredictable times and appear off the connected part of the graph.
We use the document editor to construct a document from media items. We begin by transferring the individual media items from their respective media editors into the document editor. We then use synchronization constraints to specify the temporal ordering of media events. Here we select two events and create a synchronization constraint between them. A window appears in which we specify the constraint, which dictates the temporal relationship between the selected events. For example, an event may be constrained to be simultaneous with another event, or before another event by 5 seconds, or before another event by at least 30 seconds and no more than 1 minute. We add a simultaneous with constraint between the previously selected events. Firefly updates the document graph to show the new constraint. We then select two other events and add a before constraint, meaning that the first selected event must occur before the second selected event by a fixed amount, in this case, 11 seconds.
After all of the desired synchronization constraints have been added, we're ready to view our sample document. At this point, Firefly uses a constraint satisfaction algorithm based on linear programming to produce a schedule for controlling the document's display. Firefly executes the schedule and displays our sample document.
The Gita Govinda is based on the love play of Krishna and the cowherdess Radha, their union, separation, and reunion.
If a schedule cannot be created using the ideal durations of media items, Firefly can adjust durations. For example, this document consists of 2 clock animations that are constrained to both start and end simultaneously. The first clock animation shows the second hand making a full revolution. Ideally, this animation should take 1 minute to run, so it will behave like a real clock. The second clock animation shows the second hand making 1/4 of a revolution. Ideally, this animation should take 15 seconds to run. However, the document specifies that both clocks must run for the same amount of time. Firefly uses cost functions supplied by the clocks to determine an optimal schedule. In this example, Firefly makes the first clock run faster. If neither clock had been willing to run faster or slower, Firefly would have been unable to create a schedule. Part 2 of this videotape shows how Firefly documents can be used to build multimedia user interfaces.
Multimedia document authoring systems represent a promising approach to constructing multimedia user interfaces. Firefly, for example, supports rapid prototyping and internationalization of user interfaces. The document on the left uses a text media item to create a conventional button-style interface to the Gita Govinda database. On the right is an image media item with active regions. The text and image media items have corresponding event structures. So to create an image-based interface, we simply replace the text media item in the document on the left with the image media item from the right. Firefly's replacement mechanism automatically maintains both the synchronization constraints and the connections between the interface and the underlying Gita Govinda database.
Internationalization of an interface is made easy by substituting text and audio media items in different languages for the English ones currently in place. When we push the Help button, notice that the Help text display is synchronized to the Help audio and that the clock animation, set to end simultaneous with the audio, shows the elapsed time.
Welcome to the Gita Govinda Multimedia Database browser. To retrieve information, use your mouse to select an object in the image.
To create a French version of this interface, all we need to do is replace the English audio and text help items with the French and redisplay the document. Firefly's media replacement mechanism, its ability to alter the duration of a media item to satisfy synchronization constraints, and its automatic scheduler do all the tedious work. Notice that the French version of the help audio is longer than the English, but that the French text remains synchronized with the audio and the clock animation runs for the longer time.
Bienvenue au système d'exploration interactif de base de données multimédia Gita Govinda. Pour accéder à l'information sur un sujet, utilisez la souris pour sélecter l'objet correspondant sur l'écran.
You have seen some examples of how Firefly documents can function as multimedia user interfaces. Firefly's media replacement mechanism and its automatic scheduler support rapid prototyping and internationalization. Firefly is a work in progress. We intend to implement hierarchical documents within which entire documents can themselves be media items, and we will continue experimenting with multimedia documents as user interfaces.